an Inside Star Citizen, is it the first one in a month, or did they do the proper 3-week thing? First one in a while, to say the least, and yeah, looking forward to this. Regardless what it is, it's called Wear and Tear Affair, so I imagine it's not very exciting at all. It doesn't seem exciting, but let's see what they got for us. Wear and Tear Affair.
Hey y'all, greetings from sunny United Kingdom. It's a time of change at the moment as I relocate from Los Angeles and our Winslow and Frankfurt offices prepare their move into the new digs over the next coming months. That means that this quarter of ISC may be a little different, a little more run and gun than usual, recording from wherever we can week to week, whether that's our old Winslow office you're already familiar with, sticking our heads into the currently under construction new offices here in Manchester, or even my new flat that's currently filled with half-constructed IKEA furniture. Yes, it's an exciting time for ISC and for Cloud Imperium Games as a whole as we continue to grow. So
Beautiful.
Please, pardon our dust this quarter as we continue our look inside of Star Citizen's continuing development. And we're going to start things off this new quarter and this new year of the show with a brief look at a presentation given recently by our own Forrest Steffen to directors, detailing an evolution of our wear and biome systems we want to put forward into development later this year.
Wait, so this wasn't made for us? Okay. Also, does anybody remember Forrest? Like, he hasn't been on camera for anything in forever. Like, I didn't know he still worked there.
Greetings all, Forrest here. Some of you may know this. I love playing Star Citizen. I play it on Fridays. And I was running around Microtech when I realized there was a bit of a problem. There were some major inconsistencies between the characters, the weapons, and the environment in regards to the biome accumulation.
Aren't they, like, forced to play Star Citizen on Fridays?
So I tried to come up with a solution, and then I put together a presentation. Because before we decide to work on a feature of any kind, it is important to make certain we're all on the same page. So today, I'm going to share with you some of those ideas from the presentation I recently gave to CR and other directors before any of the work had started.
Okay.
Now, disclaimer, Jared said you'd find it interesting. So if it's not, blame him.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, biome is weather and accumulation is the effect that weather has on the materials. So if a character walks into a biome, that character's shader will reflect the weather.
Okay.
Simply put, if you walk out in the rain, you're gonna get wet.
Yeah.
Right now, when you play the game, there's only a single texture handling all accumulation effects per asset. So my pitch to Chris was, let's make it procedural. How we did this was we used Substance Designer to automate any textures needed for any biome required. This alleviated all labor off the artists.
Hell yeah. Well, anything that alleviates labor is probably a good thing, right? So yes, I do think it's cool.
So look, when you have a bunch of people creating the same thing, you're going to have different results because we all see things differently. Doing this procedurally solves the visual inconsistencies of biome accumulation. And of course, with graphic support, it's going to be even better. All in all, the reason this is so important to me is it gives us that immersive planet-side experience while playing the game on my Friday nights.
Wear and biome accumulation are essential elements in creating a universe that feels simultaneously alive and lived in with its expected and anticipated effects on players, buildings, and vehicles alike. And
That's
up
cool, I
next,
guess.
the teams have been busy while we were away, so let's check in with.
It looks like a sprint report. The thing that I took away from that was that we saw that there was like concept art for fire damage and mud and things that we don't really see right now, right? The only accumulation that I'm aware of, and correct me if I'm wrong, is just the snow biome stuff. So if you're on Microtech, if you're on a cold moon, your armor gets white. But other than, like, it gets like ice on it. Other than that, I don't think that there's any accumulation anywhere else. So it was a decent look at
The
that
AI
stuff.
and EU sandbox teams in this week's sprint report. To get things started this week, let's jump into the world of AI with some sprint updates from a variety of tasks the team is tackling for both Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Up first is the collision resolver. Now, currently in the claustrophobic corridors of a ship or station, NPCs will often have no collision so that they can get to where they're going relatively unimpeded. But nobody wants characters just walking through other characters. So the collision resolver is a new system currently in development that will temporarily shrink the physics bubble of
terrible.
AI and change to the relevant animations, allowing them to pass through many situations they currently cannot. In addition,
That has to be temporary, right? That has to be temporary because didn't they, like, these are one of the things about, you remember Cyberpunk? Remember that trailer that everybody was like, oh crap, they're totally destroyed Star Citizen? Where they had all these NPCs walking in between each other and everything? Like, Star Citizen said that that's what they would have. They showed NPCs walking around each other many, many times. I'm confused. And how I look at that is, wow, Squadron 42 is really far away when I see things like that.
missions that require AI to come down from orbit and
Yeah, the
either
shoulder
deliver
squeeze,
or pick
right?
up the
What
player
happened?
or goods often follow the terrain just a little too precisely, bouncing needlessly up and down over obstacles far, far below it, making it look, well, just janky as heck. So the AI flight path system is getting new features that allow for both
Nice.
local and look-ahead searches to determine not just safe altitudes that they can reach their destinations with, but also fly a more smooth and natural motion than ever before.
Cool.
This
We like
system
it.
can also potentially be used to allow NPCs to determine their own landing spots,
Look at how many.
using many of the same size and shape and availability judgments the players themselves have to use. And that's pretty cool. The team is also working to improve downstate reactions. As you can see
We saw
here,
this in the monthly
where a group
report.
of actors discovers a fallen body. In this case, they might just rush over, investigate, and then fan out as seen here.
They got the only thing, like, okay, the only thing that makes this not believable is that none of them react to each other.
In this case, they might just
Right.
rush over,
Watch it again.
investigate,
This guy's looking here, this guy's looking here, this guy's looking here. They all do the same thing, but none of them realize that any of them are there. So that looks awesome, but that was the first thing that I just kind of was like, I don't want to be overcritical about this. It's obviously a work in progress kind of thing. But it was just like, oh. Because if it was believable, you would be like, oh shit, who is this? And then somebody would respond, right? We would talk to each other.
and then fan out as seen here. Or perhaps they'll slowly approach with one person investigating while another stays behind to provide cover. And for anyone that's ever done the underground facility mission, improved response times for when their investigation of a fallen comrade is interrupted by an uncautious player.
Nice.
The AI content folks have also recently completed a sprint on a variety of usables such as these vending machines, where AI will ponder their selections, use their Mobiglass to complete the purchase, and even get frustrated when it doesn't work out. And then you can see here the entire carbonated refreshment flow behavior.
Yeah,
where we
it's something
get our
we
drink,
can't do. Why can't we
return
do
to our
this?
table.
I'm sure we'll eventually be able to, but I'd rather go to a machine to get my pips than
Our drink,
a vendor at a
and
stand.
then dispose of it in the receptacle where it can be properly despawned to preserve server performance. Yay!
Hey, Lum.
And before we move on, let's go back to that failed reaction from before and see if we can really get inside the head of our AI in this exact moment. All right, let's see. Think I'll go for a peach flavor today. Make my payment. Oi, what gives? Hello, Mr. Machine Man. Oi, bruv, give me my peaches and prawn delight. That ain't right. Hey, wakey wakey. I ain't got time for this. Well, maybe just a few minutes more. Hello. Oi, this thing is really fastened in there, isn't it? Doesn't move an inch. You know, back in my day, we used to move these things all over the standing system. You're lucky you're not physicalized, bruv. Alright, moving along. Let's check in with the EU Sandbox team and their continuing
He's been in the UK for 3 days.
work fleshing out the derelict outposts to be found on the surface of Pyro's planets and moons. What you're seeing here is a white box traversal test, the kind of work often done by level designers to flesh out aspects of the intended gameplay experience before artists come in and finish it out visually. And as you can see here, these derelict outposts are intended to be canvases to a variety of mission types and emergent opportunities.
The thing is like, I can't see here. It's just a location. It's just a place.
Storytelling possibilities,
I mean, there's like a container, I guess.
and given that it's Pyro, maybe even some unavoidable PvP firefight eventualities. And in addition to working on the colonialism outposts, the EU Sandbox 01 team are also exploring new gameplay opportunities out in the farthest reaches of the upcoming Pyro system. What you're seeing here is some early pre-production work on larger scale points of interest to be explored throughout the system, utilizing debris from capital ships, or in this case, defunct, damaged, or destroyed space stations from days gone past.
What do we do here?
The upcoming Pyro system is intended to be rich with a history more violent and conflicted than the Stanton system you're already familiar with, and without the efforts of megacorporations like ArcCorp, Hurston, Microtech, and Crusader keeping things relatively nice and tidy. That means a variety of husks, relics, and otherwise aging locations to discover from the nearly 500 years of space travel and exploration that have occurred in this lawless frontier. This also includes variations with pre-existing pathing solutions intended to guide players safely to their destination through a damaging or otherwise dangerous array of obstacles.
So that's something that you pass on the way to your destination. You follow these lights. Whatever's here is the destination.
Not unlike the famous coil from Squadron 42. Yeah, they may be lawless out here, but nobody wants to die unnecessarily speeding through an array of microasteroids or by losing hull integrity to corrosive agents and the like when making their way from one outpost to another. They're outlaws, but nobody likes a bad road trip. And beyond just being a cool place to explore visually, it's important these points of interest provide gameplay opportunities to players within. As the mission system spawns its myriad of mission types to explore, collect, attack, rescue, salvage, repair, and more, we also want to create environments that provide compelling reasons to leave your larger ships at the outskirts, safe from the dangers within, where a smaller craft would be perhaps a more tactically sound solution.
That's kind of cool.
And if you're asking yourself, what the heck is this place? We're going to talk more about what you're seeing here later in the year.
Very excited. Like
So what did we learn
CitizenCon.
this week? Well, we got a glimpse at the earliest stages of feature iteration with a look at the exact same kinds of presentations given internally to directors to scope out work for the months ahead. that the AI team continues to push the everyday behaviors of NPCs in naturalistic ways in their continuing efforts to create an immersive experience for all players.
I am
And
excited
that
to find out
traveling
what
through
that
space
is.
looks to get just a little more involved and potentially a lot more dangerous as we continue along with our path to Pyro. That does it for us this week. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks, Jared. And honestly, I think big claps for Jared here. I think at this point he had been moved to the UK for like 2 to 3 days, and he had already started recording. The audio sounded fantastic. Yeah, I just like listen. Was this the best ISC ever? No. And like you said at the beginning, they're not going to be the best ISCs for a little while here as they get themselves together and everything in place. They're not even in their studio there yet, right? So, but the fact that they like threw it together is, hey, that's good for me. Something to watch, something to sink your teeth into Star Citizen wise, because we're still kind of obviously waiting for the game. Feels good. So yeah, thanks, Jared. Appreciate it. The English accent was a little cringe, weird, a little bit odd there, but other than that, yeah, good episode, cool stuff. AI stuff, always kind of exciting to see changes, but you know you're not going to see them in the game, so it's always one of those. But the location, that last location, I wonder if that's what we're going to be fighting over in a lot of ways in the PU. We'll have to see. But all right, cool.